Alright, you guys. Now, I usually don't make these type of videos uh, so quickly, but Behavior have finally released the part 2 of the mid-chapter update. Now, what I'm so like amazed about is that the last part, the part 1, was so good. They like really listened to their community, and I've actually read this article already twice, and I'm really proud of Behavior. Like so far, everything that they've written here is sounds damn good. I just hope that when it actually comes to live servers, it'll actually work nicely and blend in with the game. Because by theory, what's written here is nothing short of amazing. Without further ado, there we go, the killer updates. So the Death Slinger. We've kept an eye on the Death Slinger since their release last year, and we have small changes aimed at his power. Currently, there is almost no delay between aiming down sights and being able to fire your weapon. Likewise, there is almost no delay between cancelling your shot and going for basic attacks. This creates a lose-lose situation for survivors where there is nothing they can realistically do to avoid getting hit. For example, if they vault a window, you can easily aim down your sights and shoot at them without giving them a chance to dodge your shot. But if they decide not to vault, you can easily cancel your shot and hit them with a basic attack instead. Additionally, since there is almost no delay, the survivors must constantly dodge and run erratically just in case the killer decides to shoot. With that in mind, we've made the following changes. You can no longer shoot until you have fully aimed down your sights. Increase the delay after canceling your shot before you can start basic attacking. And Death Slinger moves at a higher speed while he's aiming with his gun to compensate for the other two nerfs. Since the Death Slinger would spend more time aiming down his sights than before if you quickly aimed and fired, we felt it would only be fair to increase his movement speed while aiming down sights to compensate. Yeah. This will cause you to lose less ground while aiming and keep up with the survivor a little longer. Last but not least, we've increased the Death Slinger's tear radius to 32 meters. The Death Slinger is the only ranged killer that does not have a lullaby, which meant tear radius reducing perks like Monitor and Abuse would allow you to get close enough to surprise and hit a survivor without them getting any warning whatsoever. Like usual, we have also gone through a few of the Death Slinger add-ons and given some small buffs to the least used or powerful ones. So, to make all of this simple to you, there are 3 ranged killers in the game. There's Trickster, Huntress, and then there's Death Slinger. Death Slinger is the only killer without a lullaby, and I always felt it like it was a bit unfair, especially if you slap on Monitor and Abuse on Death Slinger. He's got a tear radius now of 16 meters, and his spear can reach up to a distance of 18. It felt always like he's becoming a stealth killer for free. A lot of the first hits that I got hit by Death Slingers when I was playing Survivor was just free hits because they caught me out in the open, they were too damn close, and Monitor got them a lot of mileage. So yeah, I do agree with increasing the tear radius to 32 meters. And on top of that, the only reason I'll be straightforward with you guys. The only reason I always played Death Slinger so well is because he has no windup. It's because that putting away your gun, aiming your gun, it's a matter of a split second. As Huntress, when you turn around the corner, you gotta take a few things into consideration. Will I be able to wind up my hatchet? Will that speed be enough to get the survivor? Same as Trickster. Will I have enough line of sight to that survivor? Will I be able to pelt that survivor with enough knives in order to get a health state out of him? With Death Slinger, all you had to do was to aim around the corner and shoot the survivor. Thus, you secure an immediate injury, and the survivor can't really reciprocate because you do it so quickly. So, what is this overall? This is a nerf to Death Slinger's 1v1. And yes, I know that overall Death Slinger was not so strong because while his 1v1 was OP, his 1v4 was non-existent. Now his 1v1 actually has counterplay and his 1v4 is still non-existent. So yes, this is an overall nerf to the killer, but the 1v1 aspect was so unfair for survivors that it was really unfun to play against this killer. Maybe now I will feel a bit more comfortable chasing survivors and leaving them with some sort of counterplay when they play against me. Because up till now, every chase I finished in mere seconds, and it felt a bit it felt a bit cheap, as if though I was playing Spirit. Now we've got the Plague here. The Plague has been in the game for a while and hasn't seen a lot of changes, but that ends today. We're making a series of quality of life changes that would make her more effective and more fun to play. Now, actually, Plague, by a lot of accounts, is considered a very strong killer. I was very hesitant by the buffs that they gave her here, because she was already performing rather well, but I actually liked the buffs they gave her after I read this article to its fullest, because they tweak up the aspects of the Plague that were abysmal, and not what she was strong at. Here, I'll read it for you guys. We looked at infected objects. Previously interacting with something would cause your infection to increase faster. We're adding an additional penalty to interacting with something that is currently infected, meaning your infection will increase even faster than before. Additionally, we've increased the base infection duration on objects like generators from 35 seconds to 40 seconds. These changes will make infecting objects feel much more impactful. So the infection, let's say you vomited on a gen, the gen stays infected for 40 seconds rather than 35. Working on something that is infected will make you get sick faster. I always thought that should be the case. It was a bit weird to me that survivors can promote their objectives and still get infected at the normal speed rate. I think they should get punished for it. They should make the hard decisions and make compromises if they want to like promote their objectives. Now we turned to her Vile Purge. That's the green vomit. The Plague takes a massive hit to her movement speed whenever she is on cooldown after vomiting or canceling her vomit. We've increased her movement speed from 2.3 milliseconds, not milliseconds, speed, while on cooldown to 3.6. So back before, when she was on cooldown, her speed was so abysmal. And that's exactly when I felt that Plague was really losing ground. Now that her speed is 3.6, she will actually not lose that much ground with survivors, I feel. And she will feel a bit more relentless as a 1v1 chaser. One of the things that felt really bad for the killer, was when you let go of your power button a little too soon, causing your power to be cancelled entirely. Now tapping the button or letting go before the minimum threshold will cause your power to continue charging until the minimum amount has been reached. Basically, now it works like a Huntress Hatchet. So essentially, like Plague's power works like you charge a bar and then the bar diminishes as she vomits. Thing is, if you charge the bar for like 5% of the bar and then you choose to vomit on the survivor, it gets cancelled because you didn't charge it enough. This happened quite a lot, especially for newer Plagues, people who trying this killer for the first time. They don't really understand, hey, why did I charge up the bar a little bit and nothing actually happened? Well, now you know that that's how it used to be. It's actually rather uncomfortable, and I had that happen to me several times as well. We've increased the time it takes to cleanse at a fountain from 6 seconds to 8 seconds. Good. I mean, nice little change. I agree. Survivors were actually cleansing rather fast. If this is a swath and they all cleanse like at the same time and with great synergy, then they might get rid of all of her fountains entirely. If it's gonna take a little bit more time, you might actually stand a chance of maybe stopping one survivor and downing them before they do so. Like the other killers that are changing in this update, we've revisited the Plague's add-ons as well and did a complete pass on some of the less powerful or rarely used ones. So these are two commons. Vile Purge no longer affects survivors, so vomiting on them does nothing, but the object infection duration stays for 40 extra seconds. That means that rather than a gen being infected for 40 seconds, it'll be infected for 80 seconds. This is amazing. This is absolutely wonderful. It changes Plague's playstyle by such a big amount. Now she might not get people infected quickly, but over time, she's gonna have way many more infected survivors as a whole. And that is absolutely splendid. This is good for like a mid-game, late-game type of plague. Alubanum Essence. Survivors who cleanse at fountains have their auras revealed for 4 seconds. Not as intriguing as this add-on, but clearly still good, because you can see where that survivor is headed. He might sit on a gen after cleansing, so you can go there, infect him once again, and now you have a fountain with corrupt purge in it, and the survivor is once again infected. So this is nice, good add-on. I think these are two common add-ons that are really worth it. Survivor item add-ons updates. Surprise, we also updated the description of item add-ons on this update as well. Like we've done for killers, each survivor item add-on will now list their effects with numbers rather than descriptive terms, like moderately, considerably, and so on. Additionally, add-ons that grant a status effect will also have a brief description on what that status effect does. Again, great fucking change. Nothing I can say about that. Perk updates. Oh, did you think the list last week was all of them? Windows of Opportunity. Much like Zanchin Tactics, we're removing the cooldown from this perk entirely. We've also increased the range to 32 meters maximum as well. Go away cooldown, we don't want you here. I agree with this. Windows of Opportunity was rather annoying, because after you drop a pallet or you vault a window, there it goes. You didn't remember entirely the map layout, and now you're screwed. Windows of Opportunity is probably one of the best perks right now for solo queue survivors. You ever wanted to be a solo queue survivor that is oriented around looping? Well, now you can do this efficiently with Windows of Opportunity. Now you know where you can go at each given opportunity. Is that enough not to get downed? Not necessarily, but now you can actually have fun and, you know, not run somewhere, hope that there's a pallet there, and then see that there's nothing there, and you're like, son of a bitch, that clawed through it. And then you get your ass chainsawed. Great change. Repressed Alliance. Repressed Alliance has a potential to save a good chunk of progress when timed well, but due to the high requirements for the perk to activate, it can often not be ready by the time you need it. With that said, we've reduced the time required to activate the perk to 45 seconds. I think it used to be 80 seconds? Not really sure about that. But now we can actually see this perk used a bit more, and I agree. Build to Last. This scared me a little. If there was anything in this patch that made me hesitate, it would be this perk. The perk shipped with fairly safe numbers to make sure it didn't go out of hand, but that ended up making it a pretty unpopular choice. I have actually seen a few survivors play it. We've reworked it to be far more effective as it's meant to be. Hiding in a locker for 12 seconds with a depleted item in your hand will cause it to refill to 99% of its charges. Each use of Build to Last reduces the number of charges refilled by 33. Now, this is insanely terrifying, because if you've got a team that is like oriented around very strong toolboxes with a lot of charges, like Commodious toolboxes with the wire spool or whatever, and now they're gonna jump into lockers to get more of those charges back, or like survivors with very strong medkits. I don't know. I mean, it's not the end of the world. They still have to spend quite a while in those lockers to get their items back. 12 seconds, that is quite meaningful. And sometimes survivors will be not doing that because, you know, they get just less and less charges eventually, the more they do it. The idea for this perk is wonderful. I might have like tweaked the numbers a little bit. The refill 99% of it is a bit too much in my opinion. Maybe like 70% could have been nice, or like 80%. But the overall idea for this perk is really good. Any means necessary. Previously, we reduced the cooldown of any means necessary and saw more people start to use it. It's still not quite where we'd like it to be. Me too. I agree with that. So we've added an aura reading effect on all drop ballots. This way, as soon as it's ready, you'll know exactly where you can use it. Now, this is good, not because you can only, go to pallets where you can pick them up, but you can also actually know where are their drop pallets. That's actually going to help you quite a lot during a chase. First of all, you'll know there's a pallet there, so you can run over there, and that'll give you some distance from a killer. Maybe use Lithe there. Now, any means necessary can work very well with Lithe if you don't have like windows of opportunity or something. I'm just thinking of combos right now. I'm sorry, guys. I'm getting a bit too ambitious here. No Mither is finally getting a buff. Holy shit, man. Finally, dude. No Mither allows you to trade a health state for other bonuses, but these bonuses were not strong enough to warrant using this perk. We're increasing the grunts of pain reduction to 75%. So now your grunts will be very, very quiet. Rather than 50%, it's going to be 75%. That's actually meaningful. Additionally, we added a 25% increased recovery speed while you're in the dying state. So this is like a recovery speed of like Unbreakable. Okay, good. Still, I can't imagine killers leaving survivors on the ground when they have no Mither. I still think no Mither should be like this hidden perk that like surprises the killer, Side note, yes, we know that a lot of you use this perk as sort of hard mode. We're not looking to completely get rid of that, as silly as it may be. Nobody actually fucking does that. I don't know anyone who goes commando with no Mither, dude. Fearmonger, which is the new name for Mindbreaker. This is a simple one. Survivors who are working on the generator will now suffer from blindness in addition to exhaustion. At first I didn't realize that, but now I understand why they did it. This will cause the perk to not only prevent the use of exhaustion perks, but also any aura reading that the survivor may have. I'll explain to you why this is good. This will extend and strengthen the exhaustion status effect. Why is that? Because you might see the killer coming for you with Object of Obsession. You might see the killer coming to you with Dark Sense. You might see the killer coming for you with Alert. There's plenty of perks in the game that can show you the killer's aura. So the fact that you can't see where the killer is coming from, and then when he finally comes around the corner and you're exhausted, then that's when he catches you off guard. Nice change. I would have actually... I don't know, Oblivious might have worked here, or that would have been way too OP. I don't know. But the blindness is a nice buff for this, because you as killer want to use the exhaustion status effect on survivors. So if they don't know where you exactly are, that's kind of good. Ladies and gentlemen, holy fucking shit. It's such a good change. I literally Craigasmed when I read this. The hatch and keys. Hatch and keys, by extension, have been a very have long been a very continuous topics, leading to some heated debates. We have some changes incoming to make them a little fairer. First, the hatch will no longer spawn if there's more than one survivor in the trial. Finally, this will mean you'll never have to worry about the last 3 survivors vanishing when there's still 1 generator left. I actually had this today. I moried a Jeff, 3 other survivors took the key and left. I had a beautiful 3-gen that I could hold on to for a very, very long time. Additionally, the hatch will now take a few seconds to open with a key once it is closed. If you all remember, I made a video on how to nerf keys on my channel. One of the arguments that I made is there should be a charge bar to opening the hatch. I said it, and there we go, they made it. Progress does not reset when a survivor cancels the interaction. Fair enough. If it's gonna take, like, I was even thinking of like a 2-second animation. With how this looks, it seems like it's gonna be even longer than that. Kudos to behavior. I think that escaping from the hatch should be with a key should be a privilege, and the interaction should take a while. This eliminates the problem where a survivor can simply sprint straight at the hatch and instantly open it and escape. Like I said, opening the hatch, leaving it open, and jumping inside at the same time felt like way too much. Now you can do it only as the last person, and there's a charge bar. Just absolutely amazing changes. I'm really glad with what they've done here. With that said, these changes will make the Where Did They Go achievement impossible to obtain. If any of you don't know, on Steam, the one hidden achievement of DBD is Where Did They Go, which Used to be all 4 survivors need to escape from the hatch with a key. So now, how would you obtain this achievement? You need to escape through the hatch using a key. That's it. That's the only criteria to get this achievement. Much easier, much more simple for survivors to get this achievement now. Boon Totems, the most exciting part of this update. As promised at the anniversary live broadcast, we are introducing some new gameplay around totems. These will add an extra objective around the map, and much like killer, hex totems are tied to survivors' perks. Survivors will be able to bless a totem to change it to a boon totem, and these blessings are designed to offer comfort to a survivor team. A small safe haven, if you would. However, unlike a hex totem, the killer can also quickly interact with the created boon totem to completely remove the associated blessing, once again turning it to a dull totem. They will also be able to hear the boon totem when it is in range. Each survivor can only have one boon totem active at a time. This boon totem will combine the effects of all of their equipped boon totems. This will add some more strategic decisions for survivors to make when it comes to their interactions with totems. Interesting. I'm actually very excited for this. It looks very cool, like the blue flames and whatnot. Wonder what these buffs for survivors are going to be. With that, we've come to an end to the developer update. For real this time. All of the changes mentioned in part 2 in this 2-part post and more will be available for testing in this week's player test build. Ladies and gentlemen, that is very soon. We look forward to hearing what you think. And until next time, the Dead by Daylight team. Now, I'll say this outright. I give behavior a lot of shit. And like these two patch notes, like these 2 parts are absolutely amazing. A new feature, a nerf to keys and hatches, finally. Buffs to perks to make the game more spicy. Fucking over potentially one of the most abuseful 1v1 killers. Buffing a killer that the community rarely plays, so people might actually take an interest in her once again. Very, very, very amazing update. I give this update a 9.5 out of fucking 10, dude. Only thing that scares me a little bit is the build to last buff. It seems a bit excessive, but in comparison to all of the other amazing changes that they made, like, that wasn't even a sarcastical clap. Totally amazing. Well, thank you all so much for watching. Tell me what you guys think about these changes, and I'll see you all next time. Peace out.